Today I have a 16-joule Poljot, all steel. The back of the case is an all steel, so this body and case back are stainless steel. It's foreign, stamped foreign on there. I'm sure that meant it was for export, as they have Latin writing right there, and down at the end, made in USSR. This is a very clean, elegant looking timepiece. I think it's on the small side, but they were back at this time. The only color, as you can see, is the second hand has that red arrow. It's kind of cool looking up close. So we're going to rip this apart for today, and it's already had one service when I was first doing this, but who knows how well I did and if I used the proper lubricants. So things have improved, at least I think so. Here's a movement shot. Very cool looking, very decorated as far as I would like to see. The Geneva stripes, they reflect light nicely. Very clean movement. So we're going to rip into this and get this apart, hopefully in a timely manner, not too fast with my babbling. For something this old, it's in good shape. The rubber gasket is in decent shape. It hasn't fallen apart. And I would think something this size would be a top loader, and it is not. It is it comes in from the back side, so there's no separate bezel for the crystal. And I think for when this was manufactured, I'm not sure if it's 60s or 70s. Maybe somebody else can tell me, or not, as it doesn't really matter. I just like them. This is a cool piece. It does get comments from people when I do have it on my wrist, only because it's not a big, chunky, massive watch. It draws attention because of its size. It's not huge. So that's the attention that people are so used to seeing something giant on their wrist. So those two screws I took out are the keepers to hold that in the movement, and this has your standard push button. Push down, pull the stem. Pretty easy stuff, straightforward. I'm going to do this from the beginning instead of going through taking steps ahead, only because it is very cool looking, very nice. And one thing I just realized, those two screws I took out, they actually didn't hold it in the case. They hold, let's see if we can get in here. Looks like an outer ring. That's an outer ring, a spacer ring. And I'm not sure how that comes off. I think I may, no, let's see, hang on. Well, either way, we're going to mount this up and get the hands off. Either way, let's not worry about it. I want to give you a close-up of that second hand and give you a shot of that dial without the crystal playing games with the light. It's very clean dial. And here's a shot of that second hand. How nice that is. That ruby red arrow. It's cool. It's very, very nice. I'm not educated enough to describe it any better for you. So there's photos speak more than words. I should probably put my crown back in. Let's do that. I'm going to just pop that back in. And have my hands lined up so I can take them off quickly. Hopefully, quickly. I'm going to pull back here a bit. Okay. Like I said, hopefully I can do this in a timely manner. But who knows? I might not. There's always the fast forward button to fast forward through my yammering. Every now and then I like to make sure I'm in the shot, make sure we're focused. Okay. Hands are off. Let's see about that outer ring. And that ring, it's a pretty snug fit, but now that we have the screws off, it just comes right off. Here's the ring. There's our cutout for the stem. So that's pretty uneventful. I like it eventful. Dial feet, we're going to go to next. The screws are located radially on the movement base. Very simple movement, no date complication, which I like. I do have here's an indication of how inexperienced I was. There's a smear of oil right there on the back side. That looks like a decent amount of oil. Where did all that come from? Well, that was my inexperience, I'm sure, before getting into these and doing them the right way. And I think that was just over the keyless works, so I probably overdid it with a little oil. It doesn't take much for a little bit of oil to spread quickly. Okay, first thing you'll notice, let's make sure we're not contacting our balance. Here's our balance poking through the side, so we're not interfering with that and crushing it in the jaws. First thing you'll notice, no shock. The balance jewels are not shock sprung. They are fixed. So we're going to tackle how to lubricate those properly. Okay. Standard procedure here. That gear is coming off. And our keyless works cover spring. There's a spring here, and then we have this cover. We're going to get those out next. For as old as this is, it was in good shape when I first got it. It was a little dirty on the inside. The hairspring had a lot of buildup on it. I'm not sure where that buildup came from, but it was pretty dirty. In fact, it wouldn't even swing properly. You didn't need a time grapher to know that. It just wouldn't swing right. Very low amplitude. And I had to soak it in some really strong degreaser. Okay, that gear was stuck to the bottom of that, probably a little too much oil on it. We're talking about this one right here. So let's take that out. And then we have another one next to it. And the minute wheel. I might be learning these terms eventually. Next thing I want to do is get that live spring out of there. Don't want to lose anything because I don't have spare parts for this. This is my only 16-year-old Poljot. I'm not sure what the caliber's called. I should have looked it up and made like I knew what I was talking about, but that doesn't always happen. I just wing it. Okay. Here's all those parts. You can see how that mechanism works for the stem. So next we're going to take this out, and this side will be done. Quick and easy, I think. That is a separate spring that holds that down. That is a 2-piece that's got a pin that's going to come out from the back side that's captured in there. We just got to make sure we don't forget it and drop it. Take our stem out. Here comes our winding gear. I think that's called hand setting gear, clutch mechanism. You call it what you want. Okay, let's come around. That side's done. Our balance is loose. That's a good sign. Not sticking. I already have the mainspring unwound just to speed things up a bit. If you'll also notice, the beat error is not easily adjustable with a lever. It's solidly fixed right in here. It is adjustable if you want to take your hairspring off your balance staff and orient it to get it closer. I don't think I'm that motivated. Okay, it's a little sticky. Maybe that's sticky from too much oil. I don't know. But it was ticking away pretty nicely before I took it apart. Could it be over oiled? Yeah, it probably is, as evidenced by the oil on the back side of the dial. Okay, and this one's laid out a little differently. You can see that top gear, top wheel on top of everything. It's going to be pretty obvious how this is coming apart, so let's just go with it. I like when things are obvious. You don't have to think about it. Can't get something underneath unless you take the top off. So let's do that. I should have looked up what the caliber of this was. I'm working fairly closely to this microscope and I'm trying to not bump into it and make it shake. Not always easy. Okay. There we go. And I believe that center wheel is going to drive the second hand. That would make sense. It's right in the middle. So let's call that the second hand pinion wheel. Okay, works for me. Straightforward stuff. That is a second hand pinion. So let's call it that, second hand pinion. Don't know what that is, but I know where it goes. I'm not sure if that, actually, I don't know if that escape wheel will come out. It does. Good. Beautiful. And right now, let's get this out of the way. Let's take the pallet fork bridge off. And the pallet fork. Working on this is one of my very first involvements with timepieces in general. They're simple. They're easy to work on. You don't have balance jewels that are shock protected. You don't have date complications. It's very simple. And I think indicative of the manufacturing of that time. Keep it simple, make it nice, make it last. But at the same time, these are pretty well machined parts. They're pretty slick. I don't have to have something with a Swiss name on it to think it's any better quality. Could it be better quality? I'm sure, but to me it doesn't matter. These are just as nice as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Here's our ratchet wheel. And this winding wheel is held in with 2 screws. Straightforward stuff. Fun to work on, easy to work on, simple. How many ways can you say it? Okay, let's put that over here. And that's a 2-piece. There's a gear and that center part held in by the screws. Let's move our screw back here. There we go. Okay. Our winding bridge, we're going to leave the click in place right now. I'll worry about that later. Straightforward stuff. We're going to take our mainspring bridge, get that off. Come back in the shot here. Okay. 3 screws. And our mainspring bridge. Just give it a nudge with a screwdriver. Let's see, there's a little slot right there. You can get a screwdriver blade under. The fact that it's on there that snugly means it's pretty precise fit. It's a good sign. Just having it fall back down made it tighten up. There we go. Now we can get a tweezers under that and pull that out. This wheel is connected to our cannon pinion, and the mainspring will come out right there. And let's not forget this little pin. That's the one that you depress to pull the stem out. We're going to take that out. Don't forget to put that in before you put your mainspring barrel back in. Otherwise you're taking that apart. I've done that a few times. Here's our cannon pinion. Last thing to come out. Should pop right off with... I'm not even looking at this. I'm looking at the screen. Go figure. Is it going to grip it? Maybe not. Just not gripping that enough. So we have ways. We have a pin vise. We're going to clamp down on that with a pin vise and just manually pull that off. So here we go. We put the pin vise on. I'm going to take it out of the shot right now so I can see it and tighten up on it. Tighten up on the cannon pinion. Grab a hold, and there it is. It pops right off. Back into our movement holder, just because it's so much easier. And that last wheel comes out. Very simple. And if you notice, that center is not jeweled right here. There's no jeweling on that. That's just the case and the gear running through that, the wheel. It is concentric. It doesn't look worn out. I don't think anything's worn out on this. It's just too new. And there you can see some of the oil left over from assembly. So I was probably a little heavy-handed with the oil. Might not have been the right oil. Probably not. but we live and learn and we practice. So there you have it, and pretty soon we'll be putting this together. Shouldn't take long at all.